This is the Paranormal Report. Welcome to the Paranormal Report. I'm Jim.
I am Dar. How you doing? You staying warm?
I am staying warm. I put on my little heater here a little bit to warm up the room before we got started. And there we go. You're all glammed up today, I notice.
You know what? I'm in blue. I even polished my nails blue because it is really winter. And we've been hammered with cold, like most of the country, deep cold, a lot of snow this year compared to other years. And if you're in the South, I heard you guys are going to really get hammered this weekend. So please be safe. Prepare now. They're talking power outages and delays. And so be prepared. I feel bad for you guys too.
And our friends up in Canada. Outage. Well, yeah, we did. Yeah, our friends up in Canada, they're really in the deep freeze.
I know. I'm so sorry, guys. Yikes. Because, I mean, I know you guys expect cold, but I don't think you expected that cold.
Yeah. But we did have a brief power outage in the middle of the night. Somebody hit a pole, I think, or something. I don't know. Yeah,
I think they took a whole pole out and left, over 1,500 people without power in the middle of the night when it's extremely cold. And boy, did it get cold in the house quickly.
But I do give credit because I think it happened 2:30 in the morning. They said it was going to be 5:30. 1:30. And by, I think, 2:45, we had power back. I mean, the crews, they really...
a little in the 3.
Whatever it was, they did a good job of getting it back on because they estimated it was going to be 5:30 in the morning. So, I mean, I know with these kind of things, we complain when things don't go well. So let's give these guys their flowers and women, men and women.
Those men and women work so hard on the lines and whatever. We give grief to the powers that be. At least I do. I don't give grief to the workers because they're the ones in the elements. They have to get up either in the middle of the night or they're on call or whatever, Bless them. It's the ones that sit behind the desks that think it's a good idea to cut costs here and cut costs there, and then they don't care what the fallout is. So that's who I give grief to.
Yeah. And then speaking of flowers, we need to give flowers to all the people who came out the other night to our event at the library, Cuyahoga County Public Library, Mayfield Branch. It was a very cold night, and we had some great brave souls. So thanks for everyone who came out to that.
Yes, shout out to many of you. Patrick for telling a great story. A lot of people that told great stories. Christina and her son Everett. See, I told you I'd give you a shout out. Yeah. We gotta egg Christina on. She wants to tell some. She's got some stories, but she says she's afraid. She's nervous to come on.
JimHerald.com/campfire. Don't be afraid.
No, because you're just having a nice conversation with Jim. He's not gonna bite. He just
not at all.
He just bites at me. Well, I could change that to make it something that... Okay, let's move on.
Okay. Oh, my. Well, anyway, Cuyahoga County Public Library, we have 2 more events coming up. 2 in February. I was pulling it up when I was looking. I wasn't not paying attention to you, but I was pulling up those. Monday, February 9th at 7 p.m. at their Brook Park branch. And it looks like there's already quite a few people signed up for that one. Again, that is Monday, February 9th at 7 p.m. And then we have the next one, which is Thursday, February 26th at the Olmsted Falls branch. And we have quite a few people signed up for that, both through the Cuyahoga County Public Library. Easy way to get to that. Just go to jimherald.com/events, jimherald.com/events, and both of those will be listed. And in both cases, they're free, but registration is required and requested. So you can find those there. And I hope if you...
Yeah, I'm sorry. I interrupted you. But I was just going to say Brook Park, if you're in the Cleveland area, that's like an easy place to get to from any side of town.
Yeah, those are both kind of west side-ish, but very convenient from both sides of town. So if you're in the Cleveland area, northeastern Ohio, very easy, very easy. And hopefully by then the weather will improve. We've done a couple of these, and it seems like every time we do it, we get hit by weather. The first event we did in December, that was, I got to admit, I was off my game that night because I was just glad to be alive. It was such a
We were both glad to be alive. I just told Jim coming home from the last event last night that during his entire presentation, all I kept doing was praying and thanking God for getting us there safely and praying that he got us home safely, because that's how it was harrowing.
It was not good. It was
No.
not, I mean, quite honestly, it was not good. Now, last night it was just cold. I mean, the driving conditions were really good, but I understand people, hey, I could see him anytime. But hey, if you missed us the other night, those two events in February, very convenient for you. Hope to see you there if you missed last night.
And we are talking about trying to do some other events possibly around the country. Because I know many of you want us to put this on Zoom, but the point of this is that
we do stuff on we do this kind of stuff all the time, and we do live streams. The idea is to do some things in person, but I think I'm more hesitant about it than Dar, honestly, because we had some attempts before to do some stuff live around the country, and it always fell flat. And it's like, do I really want to go through all that bother if nobody's going to get tickets, nobody's going to sign up, nobody's going to come? If we do it, around here, it's different. I mean, we're just driving distance, those kind of things. But do we really want to travel and go through all this if nobody's going to show up? So let us know. I mean, if you're legitimately interested, and if it's something that you would legitimately pay like a reasonable ticket price for to see us live, let us know. But I'm going to require some convincing. I'm just being totally 100% transparent because I'll tell you kind of talk. I'm like, we tried that before.
I ask him all the time because I read on the virtual campfire, by the way, virtualcampfiregroup.com. Please join. It's free. But I read all the time. People are like, oh, are you ever coming out here? Are you ever coming out there? And, I'm like, oh, Jim, this would be a great idea if we went to, say, California or Texas or did some kind of, event on the western half of the U.S., But Jim is extremely hesitant because we've been burned. You just got kind of burned by another offer.
Yeah, somebody requested us, and then the people it just was really complicated. And it's like, meh.
Yeah, it's like, I only want to.
Yeah, I only want to be involved in something if it's solid and it's not changing every 5 minutes,
and
then
really
I know it's going to come across. Yeah, that's coming across. So the point is that live appearances for me have never really worked out. I mean, we've had a couple of conferences that have been nice and a couple at the kind of stage that have been nice, but in general, it's never been a thing. I don't know.
But change his mind, guys, because I would love to travel.
So, maybe we should travel while we can, because according to a former Bank of England official, hold on to your horses, a former analyst at the central bank has urged the governor of the Bank of England to put contingencies in place to prevent collapse if alien life is confirmed. Now, get this. This was a woman who, I guess, worked for the Bank of England for 10 years until 2012. And she says that no longer can bankers and financial officials afford to dismiss talk of alien life and kind of joke about little green men. She said the United States government, this is, I believe her name is Helen McCaw, and this is reported in the Sunday Times. So we're not talking about Weekly World News here. This is a major, obviously huge international newspaper. McCaw went on to say the United States government appears to be partway through a multi-year process to declassify and disclose information on the existence of a technologically advanced non-human intelligence responsible for UAPs. And she said, if UAPs prove to be of non-human origin, we may have to acknowledge the existence of a power or intelligence greater than any government and with potentially unknown intentions. And she goes on to say some of the things that could happen. She said, for example, there might be extreme price volatility in financial markets due to catastrophizing or euphoria, and a collapse in confidence if market participants feel uncertain on how to price assets using any of the familiar methods. There might be a rush to perceived safe assets such as physical gold, other precious metals, and some types of government bonds. She goes on to say it might be the opposite. Precious metal value may drop precipitously if they find out that you could get gold on some planet somewhere and that it's like super abundant, So, she also said
how will you get to that planet?
She also said there might be a rush to digital currency such as Bitcoin, which may prove appealing if people question the legitimacy of government and lose trust in government-backed assets. And it goes on and on. There was an article in the Sunday Times. We have a link. There's a corresponding link in Newsweek. And then Avi Loeb comes into the picture because he has had some communication with Macaw. And again, she was a former analyst of the UK Central Bank. So for those of us in the US, that's like our Federal Reserve. It's basically the central bank of the country. And she emailed Dr. Loeb a few months ago after he started studying the interstellar object 3I Atlas and included a copy of a comprehensive paper she wrote, which was posted, and he provides a link to that. Her email was triggered by a white paper that Loeb submitted to the United Nations about the potential risk from interstellar objects that carry alien technologies. So they've had communication. So, again, you're not talking about a podcaster like me. You're not talking about, even a report. You're talking about somebody who had a position as an analyst for the central bank of the United Kingdom, and they say, we got to have this on our radar because it could happen. And think about it. I mean, when you talk about world markets and stock markets and financial markets, there are few things that can have the kind of impact, I think. And it's totally unpredictable on financial markets. So it makes sense. It's kind of like Loeb talks about the Black Swan event. To be, forearmed is to be, forearmed? To be forewarned is to be forearmed. That's it. I think it makes good sense. So good for her for bringing that out.
Yes.
And good for the Sunday Times, a responsible, well-known mainstream publication for featuring that in a certain way. We're the first one to criticize the mainstream media when they bury this stuff. And we'll talk about that in a little bit with the James Fox event. But when they come to the table and say, yeah, this deserves attention, I give them credit. Good for the Sunday Times. Well done. Well done.
Well, absolutely. But hasn't history taught us anything? I mean, shouldn't we be prepared for all kinds of unexpected events or even expected events? I mean, look what happened, a few years ago when we weren't prepared properly, So kudos. Yes, she's right. Let's get prepared, because if disclosure comes and there's some real credible evidence that's actually finally deemed worthy of the powers that be, everybody better have ducks in a row, right?
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I think.
And you have our latest 3I Atlas update. It's a 3I Atlas report.
It's just a comet, right? It's just a comet. Although Avi Loeb he is still not quite back down. And in fact, that paper that we were just referring to, that story, you can read that. He then, after he talks about the bank and Miss McCall, he goes into all the anomalies again, and more so. And there's additional ones that they have found. I don't think he's doubling down that it's aliens, but he really is upset and really wants scientists to realize this is not normal. And you better treat it like it's not a normal comet, and you better really do some good investigation of this. So I think that's kind of his point, but he lists out more anomalies, but the story will be in there. The story I'm coming with, hey, it's your last chance tomorrow, January 22nd. Last chance to see 3I Atlas. Forbes magazine is talking about where you can do this, and I'm kind of interested. I gotta see what you could do, but they kind of go through what it is. We all know what it is. How to see the comet. They make sure they jam that in. It's a comet. Okay. How about it's possibly a comet? How about that? But no. But there's an online observation. So you don't need a telescope. You don't need to go outside. Everyone can see this. It's going to be at 6:30 p.m., January 22nd, at the Virtual Telescope Project. They are going to point robotic telescopes at a facility in Manciano, Italy, at the 3I Atlas. They're going to have a live
Eastern
feed.
time? Is that Eastern time?
6:30 p.m. Eastern time. Okay. Yeah, 23:30 UTC. It's going to be a live feed. It's titled Farewell 3I Atlas, a final view of this exceptional object. And it's scheduled to start at 6:30. I'm going to put the link in. That virtual telescope project 2.0. There's a website they're talking about it. They have like a little clip to kind of get there, but they do want you to register. It is free, but they would like you to register on their site to be able to see it. I will put a link up, but it's going to be your last chance to see it because it's heading out towards Jupiter, which then we're going to get some more data, I believe, in March. So
yeah, it'll be
stay
interesting.
tuned.
Yeah,
Very.
it's I don't think they're ever going to admit it, but this was something different. Now, what it was, who knows? But it definitely was.
Well,
something
that's the thing. You don't have to
different.
say, it's aliens.
I'm not saying it's aliens.
Saying it's aliens, but no, I don't know that it is. But why they are so steadfast in saying no, it's just a comet. It's just a comet. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not just a comet because it's not acting like just a comet. It might be a comet, but not just a comet. It is extremely unusual. It's not behaving like that. You need to get to the point of why. Why is it not behaving like that? Yeah. Can you determine where it comes from? The theories about it coming from a different universe completely and billions of miles away. I don't know, but open your minds. Let's not just take the knowledge that we already have and boop, plunk it into that. No, listen to Avi and other scientists that are out there saying, look, this is different. This is different. This is different. Why? But anyway.
Yeah,
I harp
very,
on.
very interesting. Something else that's interesting, and unfortunately we didn't get to watch it live because yesterday I had 12 campfire callers. Then we had the prep for the library event. Then we had the library event, so we were wall to wall. But James Fox, filmmaker, who has been on the Paranormal podcast in the past, and we're trying to get him back, but it's going through PR teams and all this stuff, so hopefully we can get him back on the show. But he had a big news conference yesterday where a bunch of witnesses came forth and talked about a 1996 Brazilian UFO encounter in Varginha, Brazil. And there were video statements and first-hand accounts of the crash. And very significantly, I think, Representative Eric Burleson, Republican from Missouri, was also in attendance, which I thought was pretty wild. So in January of 96, a year near and dear to our hearts, the year we were married, witnesses reported a cigar-shaped object in distress that crashed into a field. 3 young women reportedly encountered a non-human entity, and there are reports that other entities were recovered, some dead and one possibly still living. And they talk to the different witnesses and so forth. One of the most interesting things here, I'm going to scan down. By the way, this is courtesy of News Nation, and kudos to them and Ross Coulthart. They're all over this, and I appreciate it. And I've got something to say after we talk about some of the details here about who's missing in reporting this. But there was a physician who was interviewed, Dr. Italo Venturelli, a physician specializing in neurology and neurosurgery, gave testimony of a time he said he encountered the non-human intelligence. He said he decided to talk about this more after he almost died from a heart attack. He said he was working in the hospital when a colleague pulled him into a room and showed him video of what appeared to be a child with a severe case of hydrocephalitis. Isn't that the thing with the head? He then directed...
that thing with the head.
The thing with
There's
the head.
Your medical definition of the day, everyone. The thing with the head.
You know where the head is enlarged, basically?
Water, basically. Hydro meaning, but it's not really water. It's fluid on your brain. It's very, very scary.
He then directed Venturelli to a bed where a creature that said Venturelli said he immediately knew that this thing was not a child, but non-human. He described the creature looking as a 7-year-old, teardrop-shaped cranium and teardrop-shaped lilac eyes. He said it had white skin and a hand with 3 fingers and a small mouth. And he also had an opposing thumb. And it sounded like they were almost having a telepathic communication, and that this being was very appreciative of the care and understood that the doctor was trying to help him or her, but that he wanted to leave.
Wow.
Yeah. So James Fox said that he did approach this doctor. And yeah. Now, I'm not entirely clear here if this is at a hospital. I am assuming from this article that this is connected to the Brazilian case. But that was really fascinating. Just fascinating here that an actual physician said, yeah, I saw it right in front of me. There's also a part here that talks about in 1980, in 1996, a U.S. cargo plane secretly took off and flew into Brazil without authorization from Brazilian authorities, where it loaded unusual cargo, then departed to an unknown location.
Area 51.
And this is from retired Colonel Fred Clausen, who also had his own UFO encounter in 1980 when he was a fighter pilot. So, I mean, it goes on, and I encourage you to go to newsnationnow.com. We'll put the link there and find out more, and they have a link to the video and everything that you can watch. But kudos to News Nation, and shame on all the other news outlets, because this morning we needed a recap because, again, you can't be in two places at once. We had a full docket yesterday.
And it was it's a longer news conference. It was over an hour.
3 hours. 3 hours, I think. Anyway, I want to get a recap, kind of like what I gave you there and what News Nation provided, and see what other people had to say. The only thing I could find was from News Nation. And was this at the National Press Club? Am I correct?
It wasn't in clear. Coordination with Rice University. I got to see the woman who introduced the panel, and she was with this Center for, and I can't remember, so I don't want to slaughter it. Something about unusual phenomena or something with Rice University. But this popped up yesterday. Funnily, I hate that word.
Funnily enough.
Funnily enough, it popped up while I was looking for stories for the show today, and it just popped up, and I said, oh, where can I see this? And so I started doing searching to see, I'm sure it'll be on more than, couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah,
News Nation was it. I mean, no mention of this at all.
I knew it was coming. I should have told you about this. So that was
good. I didn't know.
On you.
How'd you know?
I just had seen it somewhere or something.
Yeah, I didn't
maybe on
know.
X, I'm not sure. But I had seen that it was coming up. I knew it was coming up. But the sad thing is...
so they knew it was coming up, so they chose not to carry it at all.
Exactly. And the thing to me is, if it's newsworthy, if nothing else, because Representative Burleson was there, sitting member of Congress.
He doesn't mean anything.
Well, I mean, it's just like, la, 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 nothing's happening.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, I think that always a lot of times with these events, they're never quite as earth-shaking as we hope, but they're still noteworthy. And I give James Fox and his team credit for trying to put it together. And I wish they would get more coverage. I wish they would get more coverage because, hey, what are the odds? Maybe there could be an alien abduction. I mean, would somebody bet on that?
I don't know. Want to bet on it? If you were to bet on it, where do you think it's going to happen, Joe? Well, I'll tell you.
California. But go
ahead. CanadaSportsBetting.ca has a new article out about the Alien Abduction Odds Index of 2026, where reports cluster across the U.S. and Canada. So I had no idea that people are actually probably betting on this too. I think if you have a gambling problem, please get help. I forgot what the number is in the US, but there is, there's a number where you can get help. But anyway, they are gambling on tracking where alien abduction stories consistently surface. And so they created this index, and it compares where the reports are most often recorded in the US and Canada. It doesn't predict. Okay, it's just saying these are the patterns that they have found. So it's given each state and province is given an implied probability. Mm-hmm. So it's an odd style measure, shows how frequently these reports appear. Okay. They said the odds are low everywhere. But, these reports, they said the difference about it, they don't appear everywhere. They appear somewhere. So in Canada, the first overall, British Columbia. more UFO reports than any province. So BC's logged 1,264 sightings, the highest in Canada, followed by New Brunswick, Alberta, Quebec. There you go. So they go through all the odds if you want to read it, the percentages, blah, blah, blah. And then following Quebec is Nova Scotia, which that you would expect because, didn't we talk about UFO crashes into that area? Yeah.
Right.
Ontario, I know we have a lot of people from Ontario listening. They're number 7 on the list. US, you thought it was California. Wrong. New Hampshire, number 1. 24 sightings per 100,000 residents, the highest rate in the country. Idaho, Vermont, and Maine follow closely with more than 21 sightings. And in several top states, they said a large share of sightings involve close encounters: Idaho, Vermont, Oregon, and Wyoming. 1 in 5 reports includes claims like missing time slips, or direct contact. And Wyoming stands out for those type of reports. Yeah. Now, they said California recorded nearly 17,000 sightings since 2019, but because those reports are spread across a very large population, it ranks outside the top 15. So, yeah, isn't that weird? So, New Hampshire, Idaho, Vermont, Maine, Oregon, and then you've got Washington, Montana, Wyoming, Arizona, and Connecticut. Those are the top 10. So, there you go.
There you have
it.
And
the article goes how they built it and how they mention it, or what data they used and all that. So thought it was interesting.
That is interesting. And, I'm not one to say that that's not possible. I mean, people have really claimed that they have been abducted by aliens. Of course, it goes back to that historic Barney and Betty Hill case. And I don't think that is impossible. And that's the thing. People say, well, there are space brothers and they're here to help us and all of this stuff. And it's like, are they really frightening people and, doing that sort of thing if they're totally benevolent? Now, maybe they're just neutral and we're just like an anthill and we're just like we would examine an ant or a lab rat. So maybe they're not negative or positive. Maybe they're neutral. Or maybe they're malevolent, or a lot of people suggest maybe they're like people. There's some good ones and there's some not so good ones.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
I was going to say, I think they're just like our human race. We've got really nice people and kind and want to help. And then you've got the real nasty ones that are just the mean girls. And
we were talking about that. I was looking into a hobby and it's like, some of these people are really nice and some of them aren't as. It's interesting.
Mean.
It's interesting.
Come on. If what's the old saying? If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Anything at all. Yeah, that's a good point.
Everybody's on the
internet.
We're
doing
I don't
it now.
like
We're
this, and I don't like this, and I must complain about this, and I have to protest about this, and I have to do. No, you don't. You don't like it? Shh. Don't worry. Then don't watch it.
I like the old
ignore
saying,
it.
Mind your own business. But
mind your own beeswax.
That's not really in vogue these days. We've got to tell everybody how they have to live. Anyway.
Yeah, so that kind of annoyed me. But
Okay. Well, this next one, this is kind of cool. This is very cool. Now,
is this for the good people only?
This is for everybody. Okay. Dr. Michael Guillen. I'm going to give you the source first before I tell you what he said. Now, get this. Here's his credentials. PhD in physics, math, and astronomy from Cornell. Taught physics at Harvard and is the former science editor for ABC News. Okay? So we're not talking about a lightweight. We are talking about a heavyweight, right?
Okay.
Well, he has done an analysis and has an idea where heaven may be located.
Ooh.
He said,
can we vacation there? No, I'm just
well, no. Actually, he talks about Einstein's work and so forth. He's talking about a galaxy that's 273 billion trillion miles away from the Earth that would move at 186 miles per second, the speed of light. And it is called the cosmic horizon. It's something that we can't see. We could, due to the work that's been done by Einstein and so forth, we could never see it. We could never get there. It's beyond human reach. Only, according to Einstein, only light and certain other non-material phenomena can travel at the speed of light. And the idea that Dr. Guillen says here that heaven, he says it's entirely possible. It's located on the other side of the cosmic horizon. I should say, by the way, this is foxnews.com. So here's why he thinks that that's possible. One, according to modern cosmology, an entire universe exists beyond the cosmic horizon, but it's permanently hidden from us because we can never reach, let alone cross over the cosmic horizon. Also, according to Einstein, that time stops at the cosmic horizon. So there's no past, present, or future. There's only timelessness, which makes sense, you know. God is timeless. Heaven is timeless. That makes sense. But space does exist, which means that it is habitable, albeit by only light and light-like entities. What do we hear from near-death experiences? We always hear people talking about beings of light, right? And then he goes on to say, the cosmic horizon is lined up with the very oldest celestial objects in the observable universe, predating the so-called Big Bang, predating the beginning of the observable universe. What does the Bible say? I'm the beginning and the end. I'm the Alpha and the Omega. Really, really interesting stuff from an academic heavyweight. Now, again, this is a Fox News. I suggest you go, whether you like Fox News or not. It's a cool article. You should go check it out, foxnews.com.
Well, if you want to read it at the Mirror, you could read it there too, I think.
Right, but I think this is the source material. This is, also Dr. Guillen is producing a movie based on his best-selling book, Believing is Seeing, and he's also on Substack. So yeah, pretty cool. I thought that was pretty cool. Makes a lot of sense because this idea that you can't see it, you can't visit it, you can't send it into a space probe, all of this, it all kind of lines up perfectly, doesn't it?
Well, I just had a thought while you were reading this, and this just popped into my head because you know how we all, not all, but many of us would love those messages from the other side, the cosmic horizon, if you want to call it that, you know, and maybe since, you know, they're light and they have space, but, you know, maybe it's not like we've heard this before, like it cannot possibly be easy for them, for the beings, the spirits, the light to get over here. Maybe, you know, that's why you don't get as many maybe contexts as you'd like, or, you know, signs. It's a difficult process, perhaps. I don't know. That just popped into my head while you were, talking about this. I don't know. That's really interesting, I think.
Yeah, I think it's extremely interesting. So good for Dr. Guillen. I love that. I love when, you know, you kind of, it goes back to the class where we originally met, science and religion, not science or religion. It was science and religion. I love that idea. The two kind of commingling. Next.
Absolutely. Well, this story, I actually had it on the docket for last week because I had seen it. And then I was like, oh, I don't know. And I had it on here, and there's been an update since I put it on here. But anyway, unexplained-mysteries.com is reporting there is a creepy video allegedly showing a ghost climbing up a mountain in India. And creepy is absolutely true. It's extremely creepy. Whether I believe it or not is another story. And that's true. And you know, I'm a pretty big believer in things. This one has me as a skeptic. I don't know. It just seems odd. So it was filmed after dark, and I'll have the link here. And they have embedded in this story, they have a video of it on, I believe, on X that you can watch. So you can see it for yourself. Somebody posted it. They said it's all over social media in the Himachal, showing a ghost sighting in the Mandi area. And it's black, and it has red eyes, and it looks like it's hooded and cloaked, right? And it looks like it's just kind of slowly, I don't feel like it's moving. From what I saw, people are saying it's moving up the mountain. I didn't say it was moving up the mountain. And I'm going to be honest, what I think it reminded me of, Jim, you'll know. when Cassandra was little for Halloween. Not little, but what was she? She was in high school. Cassandra liked to do punny costumes, so costumes based on puns.
Yes.
And she did a brush with death. Remember that one?
Yeah.
So she carried a big brush, and she dressed in death, and the costume was all black, and she had the red eyes that lit up because the face was
like the Grim Reaper. Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So she was a brush with death. That costume is exactly what this thing looks like. I mean, to a
weird.
T.
Because what we did was we got one of those driveway brooms, and then we took it off, and then we taped it around so it looked like a huge brush.
Yeah, like a big toothbrush or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so she did brush with death. But anyway, that costume, that's what I think this ghost looks like. I don't think it's a ghost. So here's the update to the story. And I don't know why I didn't include it. Maybe I had some kind of inkling last week to not include it, but why? This video apparently has been on social media for months and months. I think it started in November, and it had a whole other origin story saying it was from a Mexico region, Jalisco, and they said the ghost is said to be some sort of witch of local Mexican legend. So apparently this has been making its rounds on social media, on TikTok, and different people are picking it up and then attributing their origin story to it. So, which also then to me lends a little less credibility. So yeah. My opinion. You guys watch it. You think you see what you think. I just think it looks like Cassandra's Halloween costume. It's got red glowing eyes and it's cloaked. I mean, it looks identical. And you don't see any feet, but there's a rock in front of where the feet would be. So, I mean, I don't know. So there you have it.
Well, next up, one of my favorite topics in all this stuff is near-death experiences. And this is a really interesting article. It is from earth.com, and it talks about the work of Dr. Bruce Grayson, who's been on the Paranormal Podcast before, and Dr. Marietta Pavlovnia. Now, I looked at this 10 times before we started so I could get it pronounced correctly, and of course I screwed it up. Palovna, I believe it. Palovna. Anyway, they have studied near-death experiences at UAV, the University of Virginia, and a recent UVA, the University of Virginia.
Yeah, you said UAV. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I didn't want anyone to get looking it up and get confused.
I'm glad you corrected me. Thank you.
I know you don't like me doing that. I'm sorry.
No, actually, in this case, I'm glad you corrected me because I would have given out bad information, and we never want to do that. So apparently some other scientists had looked at a recent model called the Neptune model, the neurophysiological evolutionary psychological theory understanding near-death experience program.
Neptune.
Tried to say that to Neptune, yeah. And they kind of basically said, kind of the bottom line is it's all brain chemistry, right? And Dr. Grayson and his colleague said, don't be so quick. There's a lot of things here that don't match up with it just being brain chemistry and so forth. He said the Neptune model, Dr. Grayson said, was a pioneering attempt to explain NDEs, but it selectively ignored scientific evidence that contradicts the model and failed to address some of the most important and defining parts of NDEs. And basically, the good doctors from the University of Virginia explained that brain simulation studies do not match real reports. They go on to say laboratory subjects feel odd sensations but do not believe consciousness has left the body, which NDE experiencers do. Vision stays normal, movement remains limited. They also go on to say that basically when people have these things, the NDEs, it's a life-changing event. They change their views on things and so forth. With these experiences, nothing near that happens. So basically what they're saying is that NDEs are typically triggered by physiological events, so it makes sense to explore those connections and look for cause and effect. But this effort is just at the beginning stage, and it is important to keep being open-minded as we continue the search. And what I would say is that, okay, and Dr. Grayson talks about this too in his book. I believe the book is After. And he had an experience as a young physician like this, somebody who dies, and they come back and they can explain things that happened in the room while they were flatlining. Neptune can't explain that. I've never heard a good explanation for that falls within the traditional scientific model. Yeah, can it cause you to feel funny? Can it cause you to, they say that it's a very similar experience in some ways to when pilots are passing out at high altitudes, when they're blacking out, or if they're in the the centrifuge, the vomit comment. There are some similarities, but they can't see what's happening clear across the room. So, and it makes sense. Even if it is something more than physiological, it is interacting with our brain, which is physiological. So it doesn't have to be either or, right? It could be both. So to me, I think that a lot of these projects are just a way to say, nothing to see here. It's all physiology. And I don't think it is. I don't think they can explain it. And I applaud the folks at the University of Virginia who have also done great work, not Dr. Grayson per se, but Dr. Tucker and others on reincarnation. We mentioned that last night in the library presentation. Kudos for them for looking seriously at these things and maybe calling out some of these things when it tries to define this stuff too narrowly. Anyway.
Well, isn't it's easy to come up with a hypothesis that you can prove. You know what I'm saying? It's not as easy to come up with a hypothesis that is, more difficult to get information on, data on, and to explain, because, there are things, hello, paranormal, it's unexplainable. We don't have the information. We don't have the knowledge yet, but to strive to get that, shouldn't that be everyone's goal? So I think it's really easy to come up with a project that says, nope, it's just physiological. And here, we'll prove it. Yeah, you will. Because there is a physiological component. Like you said, it's not either or. It's, it's and or, and,
it's both.
It's both. So, I hate when people just ignore something that's so, that can be so blatant. And like you said, there's so many people that have had experiences. They see themselves. How do you see yourself? If you know what I mean? Because like you said, yeah, you could probably, while it's happening, they could see things across the room or see what, I don't know. But how do you see yourself in the room?
Yeah.
You see your body laying on a table and being worked on. And
well, My favorite one, Dr. Grayson tells it, he told it on the Paranormal podcast, is where a guy came back from an NDE and said that the surgeon who was working was flapping his arms like a chicken. And Dr. Grayson's thinking, this makes no sense. Well, it turns out that surgeon, what he did when he was in surgery is to keep everything sterile. He wouldn't touch anything. He would point with his elbows to different instruments. Hand me the scalpel, hand me this, hand me that, which may make him look like he's flapping his arms like a chicken. And this guy would have no way. Anyway.
It's the chicken dance. There we go.
All right. Now, this next story, this is heartbreaking and chilling. This is a chilling story, and no jokes.
Talk about
this is
premonitions.
Serious.
Yeah. And you kind of put me on the spot last night, and I probably sounded like an idiot, so I apologize. But I had just was reading through these stories, just reading the news like over the weekend, and this popped up, and I was just like, "Holy cow!" Okay, music star I think it's Jason Jimenez. He was among 6 people killed in a plane crash, but okay, that is sad and it's horrible. And he was young, 34 years old, and he had a family, and he was flying to a concert in Colombia in Medellin on Saturday, and the aircraft crashed. Him and his musicians, they all took off. I mean, how sad is that, right? I mean, it's so sad that happened, and and he's a pretty well-known artist in Colombia. But that's not the scary part. The scary part and chilling part is he had premonitions of this. And he revealed them in a recent interview on Colombian TV, a station called Caracol. And this is a quote he said, and I'm getting goosebumps just like reading this. Quote, "I dreamt 3 times that we were going to have a plane crash and that I had to tell the pilot to turn around. And when he arrived, he'd say, 'Oh, boss, thank goodness you told me because something went wrong, but I fixed it. Get in.'" Quote, "Those were the dreams. And in one of the dreams, I did dreamt that we had died and that we were on the news. And it was the 3rd time I dreamt that. God gave me 3 signs and I didn't understand them. I didn't get them," Jimenez said. And in the same interview, oh gosh, he revealed that he had been involved in an emergency landing recently involving the same aircraft 10 days before his son was due to be born. He said the plane takes off. As it takes off, I feel something go puff, puff. He said the aircraft started rocking. There was no speed. We weren't climbing. And he said his cameraman spotted water coming out of the engine. And so they were able to land safely. Thank goodness, but not this time. So, I know we talk about premonitions and dreams, and sometimes they are telling us things. This is just it's heartbreaking, and I don't know him or his music, but it doesn't matter because it could just be Joe Schmo off the street. It doesn't need to be someone popular. This is heartbreaking for his family, and the fact that he dreamt that he had premonitions of this happening. Oh. Like, I don't know if I would fly. I'll be honest, because you know how I am. There's times I just get a hunch that maybe we shouldn't go somewhere
to the grocery store.
And I'm like, yeah, something simple. And I'm like, we're not going. Yeah. I get adamant about we're not going. And you're like, but I'm like, we're not going. Or, we must leave at this time. And we were late, or something prevented us from, like, we were stuck in traffic or something happened. To kind of, I always say, you know what? Maybe we avoided an accident. Maybe we were going to die. Maybe, you don't know. I don't know if I would have flown if I would have had 1 dream, 3 dreams about getting killed in an aircraft. Oh,
that's sad. That's so sad. That's
so pay attention. I mean, I know a lot of times, psychics and just coaches will tell you, everybody has a level of intuition. You kind of have to tune into it. Sometimes listen to that gut feeling because it can be correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that we all have abilities to some extent. Well, let's go across the pond briefly. BirminghamMail.co.uk is reporting that New Year's Day, there was a big Bigfoot sighting over there. A father of 3 has reignited rumors of a British Bigfoot after he spotted a Sasquatch-type figure moving at speed through misty woodland in Cannock Chase. And we've actually done a show, I think, on the Plus Club on Cannock Chase years ago. Years ago. A 60-year-old gentleman, he was walking with his partner, and he went on to say that as he was walking along Castle Ring Hill Fort on the first day of this year, he noticed something strange out of the corner of his eye as what he described as a drizzly and misty day. He thought, what the hell was that? As a large figure appeared from nowhere. He said, there was no sound, no trace of anything, but I'd sensed and seen a broad, upright figure. It was probably 7 to 10 feet tall, moving at speed probably about 15 miles an hour. You figure, though, he's got that tall, big walking foot span, and had light and dark flowing fur. He said it didn't feel scary, but strangely calm. And his partner was 20 yards ahead, and she had not seen a thing. Their dog was with them, and the dog did not react either. And he did want to remain anonymous. But, again, another sighting. And I love the fact that it's outside the U.S. because I think for whatever reason, like we do with UFOs, we think it's just in the U.S., but no. Sasquatch is kind of a worldwide phenomenon, has been spotted in many, many kind of forested areas across the world.
Yes.
So interesting. And, again, who am I to say that he didn't see him,
I'm nobody to say he didn't see him. I mean, he very well could have.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of like you, some days I'm like, yep, there's something out there. We don't know. And it's kind of like the ocean. We can't tell what's underneath there.
Well, there's vast, if you look at the United States or Canada, there's vast uninhabited places. We don't think that they are, but they are. And maybe there's some Bigfoot out there, some Sasquatch out there.
Sure.
I'm not going to say there isn't.
No, we don't know. Boy, it would be awesome if we can,
It'd be nice to know.
Yeah, like to get, people are like, well, we have footprints and I know people have seen them and they have it. See, and that's what it kind of goes with this last story. And I put this story in because I kind of to make a point, basically, but it's from upworthy.com. And it says millennials are hilariously bonding over their 90s obsession with psychic Sylvia Browne. So do you remember Sylvia Browne, Jim?
I do actually, and I have a little bit of a bone to pick with Sylvia Browne.
Well, it talks about, I think, the bone, and we talked about it before on TPR.
Yeah, because I literally looked it up as to make sure I got the quote right. But you go ahead. And I'll chime in.
People said if you lived through the 90s and the early aughts, you happen to watch the Montel Williams show or Larry King Live, you remember the resident psychic Sylvia Browne. She claimed to be a medium for angels and purported to be clairvoyant when audience members would ask her questions. Well, this is kind of poking fun at that because, they're saying she was mainly wrong most of the time. So I guess like millennials are posting memes and short little videos compiling all of her like little questions, and they're just cracking up over it about her wrong predictions. And it's gone viral. It's picking up steam, and all the clips are making its rounds. And because she was also very blunt. Her answers were very curt and to the point. So they said in one of the clips, somebody stands up and asks her about someone who has gone missing, and she is very curt. She said, he drowned. Just like that. To one woman who asked about her father, she says, he's alive, he's in Florida. And that's it. So she was very, and then a common question Montel often asked after Browne's declarations was, does that make sense? And usually the answer was no, but thank you. So I'm not poking fun at psychics. I'm not. But, they are. They're kind of at least they're laughing about Sylvia Browne not being accurate, right?
Well,
so hang on. So they were talking about that. Not all her predictions were wrong, though, because they are saying a prediction that did go viral was during the pandemic. And she reported, quote, a severe pneumonia-like illness will spread throughout the globe, attacking the lungs and bronchial tubes and resisting all known treatments. So that was a prediction she had made before it happened.
Do you know when she passed?
No, I don't know. But, but a lot of people, and they do talk about what we're going to talk about, I'm sure, is this what you were talking about, the Amanda Berry case?
Yeah, I've got the quote right here.
With Luana Miller. So Amanda Berry was a local to Cleveland.
Yep.
Teenager who went missing. Could not be found.
Missing in 2003, I think it was, or so.
Yeah. She was found in 2013. It was over 10 years, right? She was being held captive, her and...
in a basement.
Melissa Knight and
wasn't it Michelle Knight?
Michelle Knight, sorry, Michelle Knight,
and I'm forgetting the third. Gina
oh my
DeJesus.
Gosh. Gina DeJesus. Yes. The three of them were being held captive. It was absolutely horrible what they went through, but Amanda escaped, but not before her mom died. And Sylvia Browne told her mom on national television that her daughter was not alive.
Yeah, the quote was, "She's not alive, honey. Your daughter's not the kind who wouldn't call." Miller told the Cleveland Plain Dealer that she believed this is from ABC News. Miller told the newspaper that she believed 98% of what Browne told her. And unfortunately, Amanda Berry's mother died a year later from heart failure. So she died 98% believing that her daughter was dead. So there's 2 points here. I look at psychics like football teams, right? You've got some great football teams out there, right? Now we've got the Patriots and the Rams and these different teams that are so good. And then you've got the Cleveland Browns. I'm not saying that Sylvia Browne was a Cleveland. They put the
capital D in dysfunction.
I just realized the coincidence with Sylvia Browne.
I take exception to that.
I take great exception, huge exception. I take huge exception, I'll say. The owner of the
like Foghorn
Yeah,
Leghorn.
I'll say, boy, I'll say. No, but the owner of the Cleveland Browns said he took huge, I believe the quote is, I don't want to get sued by Mr. Haslam, but the quote was he took huge exception at the idea that the Browns were a dysfunctional organization.
And therein lies the fact that that's why they're dysfunctional, when your own owner does not believe that there's a problem with your team.
Look at the record. Look at the record.
And no coach wants to come here.
No.
Mike McDaniels doesn't even want to come here. Nobody wants to come here. We're never getting a coach.
No, we'll get a coach. We'll get a 32-year-old coach that they can push around. Anyway, the point is I believe that there are psychics who are very sincere and very good.
Yes.
Now, Sylvia Browne, she passed away, I believe, in 2013. I'm not going to say she was disingenuous because I don't know. But I do say, if you're going to tell somebody that their daughter or their son or their loved one is dead, you really better make sure that you're pretty confident of what you're telling them. I just think, we've dealt with a lot of psychics and they seem to be very sensitive and know how to say things and know how to say things without being dogmatic, absolutely
Correct.
Positively. And when you're dealing with someone who has lost a child, I can't, or thinks they've lost a child, I can't think of anything worse. And it would be terrible to give them information that was inaccurate and would make them lose all hope and just. So again, Sylvia Browne may have been a fantastic person who had a bad moment. I don't know. I'm not going to speak ill of the dead, and I'm not going to say. But it certainly was a poor judgment, even if she believed that with every fiber of her being, to tell her that.
Well, yes. So that's what I was going to say about her. Maybe she truly believed in her gifts, and she truly believed what she was saying was the truth. I still go along with what you just said. There are better and more diplomatic ways to say things like that because you are dealing with life and death. This is not, will I win the lottery?
Right.
Or, am I going to marry my next door neighbor? It's not something, this is so important to people. They're distraught to begin with. It's just to be so curt and just so sure of it. First of all, I don't even know if she should have been going on talking about stuff like that, even if she did have a gift or she believed in her gift. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just think that it's not appropriate, and it wasn't appropriate for television. However, all these people are now enjoying it and they think everything is hilarious. Well, in 2010, Skeptical Inquirer magazine did a story and they said, quote, despite her repeated claims to be more than 85% correct, a study reported that she has not even been mostly correct in a single case.
But I do think, aside from the Amanda Berry case, which is a horrible thing, and thank God they were found, and those poor people having to go through that. I do think it does sound kind of funny, the Sylvia Browne thing, and I do think we need to have a sense of humor about everything.
Yes. And that's why I kind of put this
or Bigfoot or UFOs. Yes. I think we can treat it seriously, but yet, it's kind of like, I'll give you an example. There was there's this show, what's it, Tim Robinson, the guy, he was with SNL, was a writer, and
Corn Cob TV?
Skit, yeah, Corn Cob TV. If you watch
guys have to
it's a
catch
skit.
that out.
Yeah, look up Corn Cob TV. It was on Netflix. It was a skit talking about people at funerals and falling out of caskets.
Coffin flop.
Yeah. And then they had another one where they had a funeral and they had the late Fred Willard playing like this organ.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And the thing is that I take funerals seriously. People die. It's a very sad thing. But you can also have fun with, get in the coffin flop.
And that's why I
thing.
put this in there too, because what? Have fun. Believe, but also be discerning of what you're believing. Yeah. Make sure you're doing your due diligence. right? And, but come on, have some fun sometimes too.
Yeah.
I mean, the clips are very funny. SNL actually even did a skit. I think it was was it Amy Poehler? She played Sylvia Browne on an SNL skit.
Yeah.
So have some fun with it too. That's
you can
what I'm
have
saying.
respect with it and also have fun.
Yes.
I believe. You know another
Yes.
way to have fun, Dar?
What's another way to have fun?
Our merch store.
Oh, buying my merch
At
Our merch.
jimharrell.com/merch. And there is your latest design.
Yep. That I agonized over 5 million times.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Many colors, different colors. Yeah. And we have it in a hoodie form. I ordered a hoodie because it's so cold. I need a hoodie. But yeah, so for Valentine's, anti-Valentine's, or just your love of the spooky, you could look at it and interpret it that way as well. So yeah, if you're interested, it's there. Different colors.
Yep.
Hoodies, I think, go up to 5XL and shirts go up to 3XL. Yeah, so check it out. There you have
go.
it. We have the other one that has done very, very well. Just the ghost holding the balloons. We have those shirts and hoodies and mugs with the Stay Spooky on that too.
There you go.
So it's not just for Valentine's. It's just you could say I show my love for the spooky side. So
there you go.
There you go.
And we love that you decided to tune in with us today and spend some time. We appreciate it. Make sure to check out the events at jimharrell.com/events. And please check out our virtual campfire group, virtualcampfiregroup.com. virtualcampfiregroup.com. That's absolutely free. And that's where people share their spooky stories and talk about the shows and show their spooky images. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of like our own personal social network. No Facebook, no Twitter, no X, no Blue Sky, and no spammy ads.
AI.
And no AI. Yeah. So there you have it. There you have it. I
No,
hope
just the
everybody
real
checks it out.
us. No.
That's it. Unvarnished. And we've got some other ideas for that we're possibly
We do.
pursuing.
We
But
do.
I mean that virtual camp within the virtual campfire group, I should
Right.
say. So virtualcampfiregroup.com, virtualcampfiregroup.com. There's also an app. It's the Mighty Networks app that they use for that, but because that's
and
the
it is
system
free.
that we go through.
Even
and
if
it's free,
the app says
absolutely.
you have to pay, you do not have to pay. It's a free group.
It's a company where people can host their social networks. We host ours with them. Some people charge for that. We do not. So if you download that Mighty Networks app and it says there's a charge, that's for other people's network. Our network, virtualcampfiregroup.com, is absolutely free. So I hope that you check it out.
Yeah,
It's
just keep
it's a
going
fun
through the
place.
process if you're signing up on the app. Don't stop because it says there's charge. There's not. If you keep signing up, registering,
Right.
it won't be.
Yeah,
there
that's
won't be
caused a
any
little
charges.
bit of confusion, but all in all, people are loving it. I think we're probably around 3,500 members, something like that. So we want to grow that. When we get
Well,
more
we'd like
people.
to hear from you guys. It's been kind of quiet over there. Mm-hmm, I don't know if everyone's just completely hibernating and not
They're
going
frozen.
over there.
They're frozen to their.
They're
keyboards.
frozen solid. Well, when you thaw out after listening to Jim's campfire, come on over
Yes,
to the
yes,
group.
indeed.
Yeah.
Well, Dar, thank you so much. I think you're feeling
you.
a little better, a little update. I mean, you're
little
not
bit,
100%, but you're a little bit
not
better.
100, but I'll say much better than I was. I will say there was a day where my legs, I couldn't even move my legs. So
Much better now.
I haven't had that. So that's good. That's good. And I'm getting the help. Went to a new doctor. She's absolutely fantastic. I love her. Very thorough. Thank you, Jim. Jim referred her to me. So yeah. So getting the help I need. Trying.
Excellent.
Always working on myself.
We will talk to you next time, everybody. Have a great week. And as always, we will encourage you, of course, Dar, what do we say?
Stay spooky.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.